My kind of solution for making Powerfeed. It's quite simple. So as you see, I 3D printed just an extra nut around it because these grub screws are a bit too long. So yeah, okay. I could make it shorter, but then you still have the steel part. So the plastic is doing nothing, just protecting my hands and making kind of U. Here's a long nut, so here's an extra thread bolt in it. I could make it nicer, but yeah, something like you plan to do sometime. And this can be used for the Powerfeed. I'll show you later. One of the first things I just roughly made here, like many other things on the lathe, I just have to make it sometimes better. Okay, I bought this thing secondhand, so it's never going to be looking neat. But I make this nut, so like this I can just move the gears in or out. It's just simply screwed on the original place. So as you can see, it's just screwed in on the instead of the original place. So how you can put them into gears or just out of gears, and then of course you have the cap. So when I rotate the screw, it can just move freely, and of course now it's also turning more silent on the motor. So here I got my old drill. As you can see, it's not really concentric anymore. It fell from around 18 meters down a long time ago, so yeah, it was kind of broken. It's still having original, it had neat CD batteries, as you can probably see, and I just made pen light and EMHs inside, and I plan to make a little wire soldering on them so that it can be on permanently charging when connected to the lathe. Quite easy, of course, and you don't need a special charger for EMHs. It's just like 20 volts on it, and just leave it on running and they will not explode anyway. So when I want it to go in fast running, I can move it like here. You got two switches, fast and slow. So when I just want to move the carrier fast in either of the directions, I can move it like this, of course, easy, and I can go slower or faster. Or when I want to grind on a higher quality, I can just put it on speed 1 and slowly move it. The machine is extra strong this way anyway because it's geared, so it can move quite slow and get a good surface quality like that. And of course normally you just turn off the half nut and you can manually move it. Instead, also another change I made here for the way covering, instead of using this special wavy materials that I got here, but they're a bit too clumsy for this small lathe. I just 3D printed some parts. It's easy screw on, screw off, so if I need the extra place I can just take it off again. And it covers most of the place I need to go, so normally it's just wide enough, it goes above it. And all the things are falling in the tray. Another thing I changed is this easy spray cooling system. As you can see, it's just of a, how do we call it, this paint spray thingies, cheap, easy. It's just enough air to put on it, especially when I just put a little jerrycan with fluid, cooling fluid inside with the little holes in there. For the start, to fill the holes up, I just use a bit of pressurized air, or just press on the canister so that it has extra power just to feed it in, and then every time when I move it down it will run a little bit, and then extra with the air. It's quite simple setup for me. Small lathe, simple system with Powerfeed when needed. I can use an extra drill of course here as well if I want to use Powerfeed, or the same drill anyway. It just fits to use extra Powerfeed on it. Yeah, quite simple system, quite simple lathe anyway. Since I don't need to change out the gears for the Powerfeed, I just leave them on the threading combination. So now it's normally like M6 or M8 already in single point threading for the gears, and I can just change with the handle to threading, or simply using the Powerfeed or manual feed. This is probably the cheapest, possibly kind of DRO for the end stop tailstock system. As you see, it's just a very cheap calipers, digital. It just works, and I made a ring that kind of is there with a little hole and one of these pins. So one want to measure it. It is hard to do with one hand. Okay, so now it moves in when it's when I'm drilling, and when I just turn it on 0, and then I can know the depth of how deep I'm drilling in, or doing other tasks like tapping of course. And I need to change the batteries of this thing. So quite easy. The tailstock is everything is still original, for as far as I know, because I bought this little lathe secondhand, and it was kind of damaged on all places and rusty. So yeah, it's not the best quality, but it's working.